What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video I want to give Kingdra a try before the Retro Cup does leave. I do apologize as my rotations of my videos don't time well with the rotations of Go Battle League, because in 5 hours from the release of this video we will have the Great League and the Remix Cup. So unfortunately you only have a little bit of time if you want to try this team, but it's also cool to see that Kingdra with its Dragon Water typing can do so well in a meta where Ice type Pokemon are the counters to Dragons. Now later on today as well, we also have a video covering Carbink, so be on the lookout for that. I personally don't have it yet, right? But it is gonna be meta. It's the #1 Pokemon in the Great League, so you guys are gonna want to check that out. All right, getting into the first battle, we have Cradily on the lead versus Haxorus. So we'll have to see if this is counter or Dragon Tail. It looks to be Dragon Tail, so what we're gonna look to do here is go for a Rock Slide. We'll let the Breaking Swipe go through. I'm okay with tanking this damage. And then we're going to come in with the Kingdra right away and look to Dragon Breath down. Now, unfortunately, our attack will always drop. So, unfortunately, this Rock Slide isn't going to do as much. But it's still got a shield. So, now Kingdra is going to be able to come in and fully farm down, which is perfect. 2-to-1 shield right now. Their next Pokemon is a Dragonair, which unfortunately I wasn't able to get to the Outrage in time, but I do get the Octazooka off, and it lands and gets the attack debuff. So now we need to look to come in with Altaria, as they do decide to swap into the Druddigon. So they have a triple dragon team here on the final day, which is always cool to see, but ultimately there's nowhere they can really go. Altaria with no hard counter and shield and energy advantage is going to be able to take this one. Now I'm going to go ahead and just go for the full Dragon Breath down, because they wouldn't be able to get to 2 charge moves anyway, so that is going to be a good battle. All right, moving to the next one, we got Cradily versus Vigoroth here on the lead. So a tough lead, but thankfully we don't take too much damage from Body Slam. It's just the counters we have to watch out for. Now, Cradily with Grass Knot here can actually do a good amount of damage. This is going to get the Vigoroth, if it lands, into the 30% range, which allows me now to swap into Kingdra. They do decide to go for charge moves, which I thought, okay, it is going to be Body Slams, but they went for Bulldoze. So maybe a slight misplay on my opponent right there. I always go for Body Slams in that situation. But they bring in a Froslass, and this is the important thing. With a Kingdra safe swap, if there is a Froslass in the back, you will draw it out. Now, we did get the attack drop right there, which is perfect. I'm going to go ahead and shield now, because they decided to let the Octazooka go through, and I can safely Dragon Breath down right here. So Kingdra able to take down the Froslass right there, which is perfect, and their final Pokemon is going to be a Lanturn. So I'm going to go ahead and go for the Outrage, just trying to get the first shield of this game. If they decide to think it's Octazooka, well, that's going to be punishing. But they do decide to shield. Now remember, Vigoroth has no energy, so we're going to come in with Cradily into this Lanturn, because it's obviously got a very nice matchup. And there's just some slight misplays in this game by my opponent. They go for Thunderbolt there. They should be going for Surf. Maybe they don't have Surf, was my thought. Maybe they haven't TM'd Hydro Pump into Surf. That would happen. But ultimately, there was really no coming back for them. I think the only thing that might have gotten me in trouble was the double Body Slam from Vigoroth against Kingdra. But even then, it would have been close. So we'll have to see. But good game right there. All right, moving to the next one. We have Cradily versus Lanturn on the lead. So very positive lead for me. Let's see what my opponent decides to do. They're going to go ahead and bring in Oranguru. So I don't have a direct answer to this Pokemon, but I do have the opportunity to kind of soften it up with a Grass Knot and then look to go into Kingdra, which will allow me to safely shield this first charge move and then farm down with Dragon Breath. So we can come out of this mid-game matchup with Kingdra with a lot of energy. They did go for Psychic as well, so it wasn't a foul play, which is going to allow me to farm down. And let's see what the next Pokemon is going to be. They decide to come in with Lanturn again, and I'm like, okay, maybe they're weak in the back. I will go ahead and go for Octazooka here. Seeing as they came in with Lanturn, they might fear the Outrage. I want to apply that debuff, so we do get the shield, which is perfect. No attack debuff, but I do get to the Outrage in time. This is why we got so much energy there from the Oranguru that it does land, which is beautiful. Now they're trying to load up on as much energy as possible, but it's really not going to go anywhere. I'm going to go ahead and let this go. It is going to be Thunderbolt that takes us out. I'm going to come in with Altaria as well here, thinking they might go for Surf, but they actually have a Golisopod in the back, so they're going to go ahead and surrender. That is going to be a good game, very well played. All right, moving into the next one. We have, let's see, we got Cradily versus Froslass on the lead. Okay, so let's see what we can do here. Rock Slide does do super effective damage. Now, we're going to CMP tie here on this first one, but the second one we should be able to outpace them. So I'm going to go ahead and shield. As we do stop the Avalanche, it will do super effective damage. And now I go for the Rock Slide, and this is why I like Cradily in this meta, is the Rock Slide for all the ice, and you have the Grass Knot there for any water or ground type Pokemon that you might see, maybe Quagsire, for example. So we're going to go ahead and go for Rock Slide again. We get 2 shields from them, which is perfectly fine with me. They're going to go ahead and go for the Avalanche, and I will let this go. Cradily has done its job. And now we're going to come in with Kingdra and look to farm down if we can. They do have a lot of energy, so I need to be careful. And I need to be aware that, you know what, they might just swap out, which is exactly what they do. They come in with Shadow Quagsire right here. So they're trying to get to that Stone Edge, but I have enough energy that I can get to the Outrage in time. And this is going to be one-shotting the Quagsire. Boom! See ya. Next Pokemon coming in is probably going to be that Froslass with energy. And they have to throw right away. And this is the interesting thing, is the Froslass won't be able to build up to 2 charge moves in order to take us out. It tried its best right there, but it doesn't have 2 charge moves. So we're going to go ahead and let the Kingdra go down. Come in with Altaria, Dragon Breath down. The final Pokemon is going to be Oranguru. So I'm looking to make a call here. I don't think I'll survive long enough for double Sky Attack, so I opt instead to go for the Moonblast, hoping for the debuff. And looking at it, we still take them out just as they got to the charge move right there, so good game. But yeah, so maybe double Sky Attack might have worked, but it also might have been CMP tie. So I went for the Moonblast and it paid off. All right, we got Shiny Dunsparce here on the lead. So this is going to take some team effort in order to take this Pokemon down. And I also want to see what kind of habit my opponent gets into, as they're going to go ahead and look to go for Drill Runs here. So they're opting to go for Drill Runs. Rock Slide and Drill Run will do neutral damage. And now we come in with Kingdra, and in comes the Froslass, which is perfect because this is exactly what we want. We want the Froslass on the field so that Altaria has a lot better time endgame, so long as there isn't another Ice-type Pokemon back there, right? Which there sometimes is, and you will see that today. We got Octazooka, we get the shield, and now they're forced to throw energy once again. This puts them at maybe 1 extra powder, so maybe 2 towards the next Avalanche. So I can come in with Cradily and load up. I think I go for 2 Bullet Seeds right here. Maybe just 1, yeah, just go for 1. We have enough energy. I'm going to go ahead and just go for this Rock Slide, get the Froslass out of there, and then let's see what they decide to come in with. It is going to be Dunsparce. So now that they've shown that they go for Drill Runs, I want to try to catch the charge move on Altaria. They do have access to Rock Slide, right? But everyone's a creature of habit. So if I can catch the charge move, which I wasn't able to right there, we sadly have to shield. It is going to be Drill Run. And now I'm going to go for Rock Slide, but it was a CMP tie. So just some mistiming on my part. I usually am good at catching charge moves, but there was some misplays here on me. But Rock Slide, thankfully, is going to be enough to KO the Dunsparce unless they decide to shield, which they don't. Final Pokemon is going to be a Jellicent. So now this is going to get very dangerous very quickly, because if they have Ice Beam, it's over. If they have Shadow Ball and maybe Surf, they let the Sky Attack go through as well. Maybe they're thinking my Cradily is closer to a charge move than it actually is. But Altaria can tank a Shadow Ball, which means they're forced to throw a second one, and all this time we're getting that Dragon Breath damage. Now the Jellicent is within range of maybe fast moving down with Cradily, because I have a good amount of health left, and we simultaneously KO. So that's going to be a good battle. Had my opponent shielded the Sky Attack there, they would have obviously won, because I wasn't at another charge move Cradily. But we all make mistakes, and we all are learning, right? So we got Cradily, Shadow Cradily here on the lead. So we're going to go ahead and just overload on energy. Now, Grass Knot is going to be the harder hitting move here, but Rock Slide still does a great amount of damage. So they go for the Grass Knot first. I'm going to go ahead and go for my Grass Knot now. We're both going to be sneaking through fast moves just because of how these animations work out. We're both using the same fast move, but instead, now I'm going to try and I win CMP tie. I go for the Rock Slide just because it is slightly less energy. And the Rock Slide is enough to KO from that range. Now, in comes a Froslass. So I have to swap out right away into Kingdra because I need to get this Froslass out of the game. If they don't swap out, then that means they're weak in the back to Dragon. So let's see. No, they come in with Jellicent. So this is already now going to be a very tough game for me, right? There is a Froslass back there with shields, but we land the Outrage here against Jellicent, which means they just get to the charge move right there. It's so unfortunate for me. I decide to shield the Shadow Ball because I want the Froslass to be forced to throw energy here against my Kingdra, and I also want to try to apply the attack debuff with Octazooka, because if I do, then maybe an Altaria can survive an Avalanche. So now we gotta let the Kingdra go down. We're gonna come in with Altaria, and we're going to try to catch the charge move on Cradily. So let's see if we can do it. Altaria is going to go ahead and come in. We're going to swap, but they don't throw, but we do fast move each other down, and that is going to be a good game. Very well played. Kind of put them in a tough position, right? They needed 2 Avalanches in order to take us out. All right, we got Altaria here on the lead. So Rock Slide is going to be very nice in this matchup. It does a good amount of damage against Altarias, which is fantastic because we have 3 good answers to Altaria, right? The Mirror, the Kingdra, and the Rock Slide here. And they decide to let it go through. So what I'm going to do now is going to go ahead and look to shield right here. Maybe I'm thinking, you know, they got something weak in the back to Cradily potentially, so I want to keep it alive. I'm going to go ahead and go for a Rock Slide. If this gets a shield, I'm going to swap out. So let's see what they decide to do. They do decide to shield, so I'm going to go ahead and go into Kingdra now to try to Dragon Breath down. But they do get to the Sky Attack. Now, I decide to let this go through, as I can think Kingdra can survive it, but they have a Dugong in the back. So this is now looking very troublesome. I do go for Outrage right here. Obviously, if it lands, this is going to be a beautiful amount of damage, which it does! Which now they decide to farm down. And what I'm also going to do is come in with Altaria, because I know I can clear the debuff on my Cradily, and I can safely shield the Altaria. Both Pokemon would need to shield here, but I think the Altaria shielding and then clearing the debuff is going to be a bit better, and then getting Cradily ahead on energy if I need to swap back in might be the play. Now let's see what the final Pokemon is going to be. It is a Froslass. So this is, it's not looking good. I tried to swap into Cradily now to see if I can get to the Rock Slide, but they do have energy, and this is what happens, right? You run double Dragon, you face off against double Ice sometimes, and this is the way Go Battle goes. For as many games as I was able to do very well with double Dragon, I also faced off against double Ice, so that's going to be a good game. Alright, moving to the next one. We have Cradily on the lead versus Dragonair. So, somewhat of a potentially tough lead, but thankfully Rock Slide does do a lot of damage. And they also are forced to go for Aqua Tails, which means I can potentially catch it on my Kingdra here. We're going to go ahead and go for one Rock Slide. They decide to let it go through. Now in comes the Aqua Tail, and we're going to go ahead and let this go. It does do a good amount of damage, but not enough to really threaten me shielding early. So I'm going to go ahead and go for Rock Slide now, trying to force that shield from them. If I get it, we're going into Kingdra. They decide to let it go, which is fine. Now we're going to go ahead and look to get to this Rock Slide in time. No, they make a beautiful swap into Cofagrigus to catch the charge move. But now I'm free to come in with Altaria into this matchup and save all of my shields for Kingdra, because Kingdra against the Froslass is going to be my best matchup, especially with 2 shields to stop those avalanches. So Shadow Ball will land a good amount of damage there. We're going to go ahead and build up and throw the Sky Attack just before they could get to a potential Dark Pulse, and also have enough health here to take out, or to potentially get to Sky Attack versus Froslass. But they decided to throw Energy, which then secures the win here for me, because they should have potentially farmed down to get that extra energy, but now Kingdra with Dragon Breath is just going to take it, right? I can easily double shield here. I also kept my Cradily for potential sack swaps. So we're going to go ahead and shield as the Avalanche cannot touch the Kingdra, and Dragon Breath is going to be shredding down the Froslass, so this is going to be a good game, very well played, as Kingdra has been dominating Froslass today. Good battle. All right, moving into what I think might be the final battle. Yeah, we got Defense Form Deoxys here. So this is obviously a tough one, as counter is going to be doing super effective damage, and it also has access to Psycho Boost, Rock Slide, and Thunderbolt, all of which can do some good damage against my team. So we're going to go ahead and go for the Grass Knot. Good amount of neutral damage. We're going to swap into Kingdra, and we draw out a Dugong. So this is ice number 1. And if we see the Dugong come in, obviously, my thoughts are going to another ice in the back. That could be Froslass, that could be Walrein, that could be Lapras. There's probably something back there. So this is going to be tough. I decided to shield the Icy Wind, and now look to do as much damage with Dragon Breath as I can and hope to get to this Outrage here, because the Icy Wind here is only neutral damage against us, which means it's not going to be enough to KO. And hopefully I can get to the Outrage, but I do. Perfect, just before going down. And if this flips the mid-game matchup, it doesn't though. They do decide to shield, so we got 2 shields from them. Now, I need to come in with Cradily here, unfortunately, because I'm going to be forced to, the Altaria wouldn't really be able to Dragon Breath down in time, I don't think. So I'm going to be forced to shield this Icy Wind. And now I'm going to go ahead and load up on some extra energy and go for the Rock Slide. Now, my only hope and prayer is that they don't have another Ice-type Pokemon in the back. So we're going to go ahead. They have a charge move ready to go. I should have probably anticipated that and swapped out right away. But the Psycho Boost is not enough to take us down. We swap into Altaria, and they have a Walrein in the back. Makes a lot of sense, right? Defense Form Deoxys, which counters all the fighters and also does well against the grass. And overall really strong, and then double tanks in the back. So that's going to be a good battle, very well played. But lo and behold, double ice beats double dragon. But overall, this team was fun to use, and I thought Kingdra had a really nice typing and moveset for this meta. So, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know down in the comments what you guys thought about the Retro Cup. And like always, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.